Andreas Staubli, welcome to the Executive Talk. I was looking through some old interviews of yours, and one of the earliest one I saw, you said in there that one of your favorite things is to wine and dine with clients. And I was thinking, compliance-wise, can you still do that nowadays as well?
I can still do the having interactions, discussions over a lunch. But I think compliance-wise, you have to be more careful these days. The way you kind of interact with your client.
Of course, that was the background to my question. I mean, you've been here for 25 years already. How has the business changed in that time, and how has the company changed? Because it was pretty much your first job after university. So you've gone through the whole kind of cycle of PwC. Where do you see the biggest differences?
I think already, I mean, it's, as you say, 25 years ago, it's a long time. And when I think back, you know, it has always been key that we provide technical solutions to problems of our clients. But what is different today is probably that the problems are just more complex, more interdisciplinary. And that means that we need to provide more integrated solutions. And over the past few years, we need to add more of digital capabilities to the solutions, which is for us a great opportunity with our expertise around the globe and the deep technical experiences, as well as the variety of our expertise.
That's something you stressed right from the start when you became CEO last year. You said, this is the way we have to go and move forward to. Digitalization is something that comes into the business as well. How much of a kind of a change management does that kind of take with it? Because you have people on board who are still probably used to the way things were done 25 years ago. So there can be fears and there can be kind of worries as well, no?
Right. And I think that's one of our biggest challenge, really, the change management. And it's a bit twofold. On the one hand, it's our existing business with our people who are here with us for many years. But on the other hand, we have also a lot of new services where we bring in new capabilities, individuals with new backgrounds. So a few years ago, I think the majority of our people had a background in economics and law. And these days we hire a lot with a technical background, for example, from the ETH or EPFL.
We have about 50 data analysts now, no?
Well, we have more than 100.
Oh, 100 already?
Yeah. Data analytics individuals, around 50 cyber specialists, which we didn't have 5 years ago. And that's a different culture. So to integrate them into our existing workforce is one challenge. And then, as you say, the change of the existing workforce to adapt to the new world is not that easy. And I see that myself, you know, to adapt to the digital world is not that easy. It comes with, it's difficult, it's challenging, and that's what we need to help also our people to grow.
Mm-hmm. Is that something you can be honest about as well? I mean, if I think about you starting in '94 here, as you say yourself, you haven't been born with these things either. You're not a digital native either. Can you admit to your team, to the whole kind of company as well, that, look, I struggle sometimes as well, but I have to do it?
As you just realized, I have done it now, just kind of making it explicit. And I think this is crucial. We have to be honest here towards our staff. And we have a so-called digital upskilling program globally. And we have also started rolling that out in Switzerland, where we say we want to bring the whole workforce, and we have roughly 3,300 people in Switzerland, to bring to a foundational level of good understanding of the digital elements, be that blockchain, be that cyber threats, whatever it is. And we have to speak honestly about these topics with the aim that our people are fit for the future, whether this is a different job within our organization or a job with a third party. And I think we need to be honest to our people. We as a company, we need to provide the means to them, but then it's their personal duty that they take these means and upskill them personally.
Does that mean for the company that the work you do might change as well? Of course, we know you doing big audit work, consultants work. Would you see a kind of transformation of the whole company in 5-10 years? Will you be doing something else than you do now?
I mean, we are today really in a big transformation already. So looking at some of our existing services, and one is the auditing you're mentioning, and it's probably most affected by the transformation.
So this is decreasing in a way.
So what it means is that we are going to use more and more technology, which helps us to get more insights from the clients, which in the end helps to provide more security about the financials. And what it also then means is that a lot of the activities today human beings are doing are done by machines, by algorithms. So that is kind of replacing that. And we have done the analysis over the whole kind of cycle of an audit that over the next few years, the ultimate goal is to get to up to 70% of the current work being replaced by machines,
that
which
is massive.
Right. But at the same time, the work for the experienced people will rather become more complex because you have new topics you have to focus on, cyber, to understand the cyber risks. You need to understand also what the machines are doing and what not. So obviously we have also to grow our people in a totally different way than before.
That probably needs a new approach, new kind of people. When we talk about recruiting, there are so many cliches around companies like yours. For example, the famous 80-hour week that you have to work, that you cannot work with a family on the side, that people are very kind of concentrated. Is this still the case now? Because as we know, there's a new generation coming with a lot of new kind of demands. Yeah. They don't want to work that much. They want to have purpose in their jobs. They're very demanding. Do you see that as well? Do you have trouble recruiting people?
You ask now many questions, and they are all very good questions which are really on our leadership agenda. To start with your last question, do we still kind of find the talents? Can we recruit them? Yes, we can recruit them. We find the people within Switzerland coming from other jobs they have already in the past or from university. But also just from traineeship. So that's not really the concern. But what is right, what you also said is the young people, they are looking for purpose. So this is a very important element, purpose and values.
They're very picky.
Exactly. And we as an organization have already started many years now ago to think about, together with all our people, what is our purpose and what are our values? And I'm happy to discuss that in a moment. Your other point about the working hours, I think that's the other thing. Is it true? It's true that there are intense times. So we have to help our clients to come up with solutions. And that requires sometimes long hours on a day or over the weekend. But it also means that there are times when there is less work. And we provide maximum flexibility that they can fully compensate.
How many hours do you work?
I work too many hours. So it can easily be around 50, 55 hours a week. But I also take my time off. And I think we have a program called Work Well, Be Well. And there it's crucial that everybody finds their own solution to the balance. And so for me, during this time now, which just started, it's crucial for me that Saturday, Sunday, I'm up in the mountains skiing with my family, but also small things like biking to the train station every morning and in the evening. These are small things which make a difference for me. And maybe the last element there is I have also done some unpaid leaves again and again The last one roughly 2 years ago for 8 months.
That was quite striking because before you became
Exactly.
CEO, you went on an 8-month leave, and you said, I want to spend that with my family. I want to travel the world before I start that big job.
Exactly.
If you think about, again in '94, would that have been possible that the CEO just says, I'm off?
No, I think that has changed, and I think that is what our young generation is also looking for. And it's right, people with us, they must be ready to work hard and intense, but then they also need to have the time to recover, to see different things, to go after some hobbies and, for example, sports activities. And I think then they are more effective also in their jobs.
You alluded to it. You have values, you have strong kind of leadership principles as well. Which one would be the most important for you?
I think the most important, or say the leadership credo for me, is really to realize the full potential of our people, of the people around me.
You are a people person, you always say it, right?
Yes, yeah. Very much so. And it's really helping the people to personally grow. And they are trying to live a very collaborative, inclusive style, and trusting and empowering people, working together in diverse teams, and living that in a very respectful way. And I think that is really providing a lot of power to what we do.
Trust is something very important for the team, of course, but also for the exterior view of your company. And if we look at we can group them together, the big four, I mean, the big audit companies in Switzerland, they have had some issues with trust, and they had some scandals, let's say it like that, as well. Was that something important for you as well, right from the start, that you kind of, not that the trust has been down, but to kind of reinforce the trust with your clients and with the public as well?
Yeah. I think for me, trust is one of the key challenges of society and economy globally. In today's world, particularly also looking at the politics. And we have, as an organization, a role to play therein, but we need to play it also right. And our purpose is to build trust in society and to solve important problems. But that requires that we have highest quality in whatever we do, and that we really act with integrity kind of towards the outside, but also how we deal with each other.
Do you feel that hasn't always been the case in the last, let's say, 20 years?
I think it has always been the objective, but I think we had here and there situations where that was not properly dealt with. And the challenge we have, any organization have, we are people. And with people, sometimes things are not as they should be, how they behave. And there it's important that we, from a leadership perspective, give very strong messages, what we want to see, what is acceptable, and what is not tolerated. And I think there we have become clearer in our messages and act really on wrong behavior.
Isn't size an issue as well? Because if we look at I mean, your company is the biggest in its field in Switzerland. But if we take the big four, they have so much power, and I think in Switzerland it's 93% of all the SPI companies, they are dealing with one of the big four in audit, for example. In the UK it's 100%. So with that kind of power comes a lot of these issues that we talked about in the past. Could that be a problem, that it's almost like a monopoly of the big four?
I think it's wrong to say that the big four are powerful. I don't think at all that we PwC are powerful. I think we have a lot of expertise, and we bring this expertise to many clients. In the consulting space and in the audit, yes, we audit many companies, but we provide their kind of always highest quality in our services. And we are competing in some areas just with the Big Four, but in most service areas, we are competing with IT companies, with a lot of boutiques. So I don't see really that we are powerful in that sense. And what, on the other hand, is very important in many areas, for example, in audit, the world is complex, and to audit a large multinational requires huge investments. Investments in people, investments in technology. So these days we invest on a global basis hundreds of millions a year into technology. And that's the only way how we can really provide the highest possible quality of auditing to our clients, and then also to the stakeholders of our clients.
Is that due to the competition as well? That comes from the IT world?
I think that really comes from the competition, and you may say now in the pure audit, it's now just the Big Four, but we are heavily competing against each other, and that is also what is seen on the price. There is pressure on the price, so the market works very well, and you have always to strive for highest quality, but also best technology, best people, because our clients are also very demanding there.
Let me put forward another cliche, because it really is not how I perceive you, for example. Because 20, 30 years ago, these companies, audit companies, they had a bit of a dull, a boring image that you said, but they're just like kind of bookkeepers. And you said right from the start, you were studying in St. Gallen, and you said, I'm interested in figures, I'm interested in law, I'm interested in people. So how does this all go together in your job? Because the cliches, as I said, it's more like a kind of okay, we just look at the numbers, but you come across as a very kind of personal, as a very kind of open person. So it can't be just the numbers, right?
Right, and I think that's really a cliche. And purely looking at the pure accounting, maybe many years ago that was true, but that has completely changed. Because I think here the difference really is that we have so many different people with different backgrounds, different specialities and experiences. And that makes it possible to come up with solutions for our clients. And I think people working for PwC, they are here because, yes, they love to be a technical specialist in an area, but then they love to work together with other people to come up with solutions, and in particular also working together with clients to listen what their issues are and helping them. And therefore, for me, for us, it's always about making our clients more successful and providing the trust that what they do, what they have in their financials, that this is right. And or in these new days, we start to provide trust on algorithms. Can we trust algorithms? A completely new space.
It's an ethical question as well.
Yeah, a very critical question when it comes to ethics. But that's fascinating, and that is also thrilling people, young people coming from the ETH to work with us because they see purpose in working with us.
In that regard, how independent are you from the kind of worldwide structure? Because Switzerland, PwC is about 3,300 people. Worldwide, there are hundreds of thousands, of course. Are you working independently, or are you kind of in a network where all these questions are discussed together? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly we are a network of independent member firms. That's a special terminology. We are a partnership structure, and for us, it's key that the partners own this company. That entrepreneurial spirit we try to live as much as possible. But at the same time, we are to a certain extent also a global company. So we have our global standards. We have some of the infrastructure is purely global, where we have to just act efficiently and effectively. For the audit services, we operate on global audit methodology, audit technology. So that is key. So we strive to have the balance between being to a certain extent the corporate and at the same time entrepreneurs, and I think that is providing the highest possible value, but it's also challenging because it requires much more discussion, interaction with the partners, Because partners are specialists and they feel I'm an owner of this company, so I know how strategy works, in which direction we should go, and I should be heard, which is also right. But at the same time, we also need to move forward, take decisions. So that means more time from the leadership, more time for me to interact with them compared to a pure corporate world. But it provides for more benefits.
That is probably one of your roles in the company. Another one, which strikes me, you're quite outspoken when it comes to political questions or to, let's say, political economic question. For example, you've been talking about the framework agreement, that you say it's important to have it. You've been talking about possible free trade agreements with the US, for example, with Russia maybe as well. Is that something tricky as well, that you are giving your opinion, your political opinion as well, or could that be a problem with certain clients as well?
For me, I'm strongly convinced that we as PwC, we have a role to play in society, in the business environment, and in line with our purpose to build trust in society, we need also to take positions in the best interest of the economy and the society, whether this is now global, but in particular now in my role also from a Swiss business location perspective. And yes, sometimes that may be a bit tricky, then comparing it kind of what the position we take to the interest of some of our clients. But yes, we have to find there the balance, and at the same time, we have also to be outspoken. And I think all the companies have a role to play there to build the trust with the people in a country.
Finally, speaking of your role, when you look back at being a CEO for more than a year now, and as we started the discussion at the 25 years, have you remained at the core? Have you remained the same person, or have you changed through these 25 years, also regarding your values, principles?
Right. That's a very good question. You know, and touched at the beginning, and it was my first job, and I started as an assistant, and I've grown through the organization and had different roles. And whenever kind of I climbed a ladder, became a manager or a partner, or then the leader of a division and a member of the management board, for me it felt like I haven't changed. But definitely I have grown, gained experience, benefited from the different assignments I had, but for me it felt I have not changed. But what I realized is that for the outside, I have significantly changed, in particular when it came to taking on a different role. Suddenly you are seen differently from your peers, from your staff members, from your clients, from stakeholders, just from the outside, and you realize that you are seen as a role model with the good and in the challenging sense. And so you have to be much more careful in what you do, what you say, and to understand what the potential impact is. And I think that's the biggest change over the years.
And short final question, do you ever think back of your time off, of the 8 months you were traveling the world, and regret having come back or not stayed there?
No, I enjoyed it and I would do it again. And I've done it already before, and I'm sure I will do it in the future again. And I encourage people to also do it. And now being back in the company, having this job, it's just great to do this job and have fun in what I do today. And I think it's that balance everybody has to find, and it is different for each of us.
Andreas Staubli, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you.